you know, when a massive football club rebuilds, you expect like a blueprint, right? A clear foundation.
Yeah, exactly. You want to see the vision.
Right, like watching a skyscraper go up. You see the steel and the cranes, and you know exactly what the architects are aiming for. But look at Real Madrid right now in June 2026, and suddenly that blueprint looks a lot less like architecture and, well, a lot more like a classified military dossier.
Oh, it is a complete covert operation right now. I mean, the headlines are screaming one thing, but the actual mechanics operating behind the scenes are telling a completely different and honestly much more ruthless narrative.
Absolutely. So welcome to today's deep dive. We are taking all the internal knowledge we have, and we're unpacking the absolute seismic shifts happening at the Bernabeu.
It's a bloodbath behind closed doors.
It really is.
Yeah.
Our mission for you today is to decode the shocking return of Jose Mourinho and separate the actual transfer master plan from the political smokescreens, because the ripple effects this is having on the entire European market are just insane.
Right, because while everyone is screaming about the return of the special one, the real story is hidden deep in the fine print. We are looking at ingenious tax loopholes, ghost offers designed to bankrupt rivals, and a fundamental shift in the club's philosophy.
So let's unpack the man himself first. Jose Mourinho is officially back at Real Madrid. A 3-year deal taking him to June 2029. 13 years after he left, the club just paid a record €15 million release clause to extract him from Benfica.
Which is wild.
It is. And we have to pause on his season at Benfica because the internal data we're looking at is just bizarre. He finished 3rd in the league despite going completely undefeated.
Yeah, 23 wins, 0 losses, and 11 draws. I mean, it is the most Mourinho statistic imaginable.
Right.
A drip feed of drop points through away draws that ultimately cost him the title. But tactically, he built an absolute fortress. And that fortress mentality is exactly why Florentino Perez hit the panic button.
They needed it.
Desperately. Look at this past season. 2 years without major titles, well-documented locker room fractures. They didn't just need a new manager. They needed a massive shock to the system. They needed someone who could instantly plug the leaks.
But here's the thing that really stood out to me. The deal is done, right?
Yeah.
The release clause is paid, but they haven't presented him yet. They intentionally set the presentation date for July 13th.
Which is brilliant.
It is, because normally a club of this size wants to parade their new manager immediately. You know, control the narrative, fill some papers, get the fans excited. So I look at this mid-July delay, and it feels completely calculated.
Oh, it is 100% calculated.
So is this like a corporate CEO cleverly gaming the fiscal calendar before taking a new post? Is that what we were looking at?
That is exactly it. It is high-level corporate finance applied directly to football. The delay is entirely about the 183-day tax rule in Spain.
The residency threshold.
Precisely. To be considered a tax resident in Spain for a given fiscal year, you have to spend 183 days living in the country, which is basically more than half the year.
Okay.
By officially moving to Spain and starting his contract on July 13th, Mourinho ensures he will spend less than half the year in Madrid for the 2026 fiscal calendar. This seemingly minor scheduling tweak allows him to be classified as a non-resident for tax purposes this year.
Let's do the math on that, because what does that actually mean for his wallet? We are talking massive numbers here.
Massive. It means his income tax rate drops from a punishing 45% down to roughly 24% for the remainder of the year.
Wow.
Yeah, on a top-tier managerial salary, plus, whatever signing bonuses he negotiated, we are talking about millions of euros saved just by waiting a few weeks to hold a press conference.
That is ruthless efficiency.
Yeah.
It really reminds you that at this elite level, the maneuvers in the boardroom are just as calculated as the tactics on the pitch.
They're treating his arrival like a corporate merger. And that financial ruthlessness off the pitch is bleeding straight onto the grass. Because Mourinho isn't just coaching.
No, he is dictating the entire sporting strategy. Which brings us to the defense. Because he is basically operating as a true English-style manager right now.
Yeah, historically, Real Madrid managers are handed the Galacticos by the president and told to just make it work. They are chef's handed ingredients. But Mourinho is doing the grocery shopping himself. He has been given unprecedented control to fortify this squad.
Right, and look at this defensive shopping list. We know for a fact that deals for Ibrahima Konate and Denzel Dumfries are already closed.
Done deals, and that alone is a massive injection of pure physicality.
Absolutely. But now the crosshairs are locked entirely on the left side of the defense. And the primary target is 24-year-old Josko Gvardiol from Manchester City.
This is the linchpin of Mourinho's entire tactical rebuild. Gvardiol is highly valued by the City hierarchy, but he has intentionally stalled his contract renewal.
And you really have to look at the instability in Manchester to understand why.
Exactly. Pep Guardiola has stepped down. Enzo Maresca has taken over. Whenever there is a regime change at a super club, there is a window of vulnerability.
Players who came to play for a specific manager are suddenly looking around and willing to listen to Madrid.
Yeah, Gvardiol is looking at the situation and thinking, well, maybe it is time to jump ship.
Hold on, though.
Yeah.
If Mourinho is dropping $15 million on a release clause and buying Konate and Dumfries, why obsess over a €90 million player like Gvardiol? I mean, Ricardo Calafiori from Arsenal is right there.
Right. Calafiori is widely considered an easier and significantly cheaper option to pry away.
So doesn't Calafiori make way more business sense if they are already spending so heavily elsewhere?
Business sense? Maybe. But tactical sense? Absolutely not. This is about Mourinho's core philosophy and the very specific geometry of his backline.
Explain that.
Think about the right side of that Madrid defense going into next season. You have Dumfries and you have Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Right, which is ultra offensive. They're basically wingers pretending to be defenders.
Exactly. They are going to bomb forward constantly, leaving massive space behind them. If your right side is that heavy on the attack, your left side needs to be an absolute rock to prevent counterattacks. Mourinho doesn't play with 4 flat defenders.
Never.
He desperately needs a versatile, elite stopper who can play both center back and left back seamlessly.
So when the right back pushes up into the attack, the left back tucks inside.
Exactly. Gvardiol slides inside to form a back 3 with Konate and Antonio Rudiger. It creates an asymmetric backline.
Ah, I see. So Calafiori is an excellent player, but Gvardiol is that premium, world-class hybrid defender.
Right. He is the specific profile required to balance out that lopsided attack. Gvardiol is the anchor that allows the right side to fly. Without him on the left, Mourinho's entire defensive structure basically collapses in transition.
He is building an absolute wall. But look, a wall only keeps you from losing, right? To actually win in the Bernabeu, you need a brain on the pitch.
You need a general.
Which brings us to the most fascinating internal move we have uncovered. The pursuit of Bernardo Silva.
Oh, this transfer tells you everything you need to know about where Real Madrid is heading structurally.
Right, because Bernardo Silva has already passed a medical while in camp with the Portugal national team. But the kicker here is the timeline.
The timeline is everything.
Because he was originally offered to Real Madrid months ago by his agent Jorge Mendes. And the club basically said, no thanks, they weren't interested.
They outright rejected him. But the absolute second Mourinho walked through the door, he specifically demanded Silva as his competitive on-field extension.
Right. Mourinho teams historically rely on that manager on the pitch.
Think of Wesley Sneijder at Inter Milan or Deco at Porto. He needs someone with an elite footballing IQ who understands game management down to the single second.
Someone who knows exactly when to commit a tactical foul.
Exactly. When to slow down the tempo to kill the crowd and how to break lines in grueling, tight Champions League matches. Bernardo Silva brings that instantly. He is the ultimate control mechanism.
But I look at this move, and I have to ask about the cost. And I don't mean the financial cost. I mean the structural cost.
The collateral damage.
Yeah, because Real Madrid has spent the last 5 years meticulously building a young, vibrant core. They have been investing heavily in the future. Doesn't bringing in a 31-year-old Bernardo Silva completely block the path for the rising stars in La Fábrica?
It completely obliterates their path. And from Mourinho's perspective, that is a feature, not a bug.
Wow, really?
Yeah, the club is definitively shifting from a build-for-tomorrow model to an aggressive win-now mentality. Mourinho doesn't have the time or the patience to develop 20-year-olds through their inconsistent phases. He needs to win the Champions League in the next 24 months.
And the collateral damage is staggering. Look at Nico Paz, right? The crown jewel of the academy.
The kid who was just named best midfielder in Serie A while on loan at Como.
Exactly. And Madrid is not bringing him back. They are letting him stay in Italy. And Victor Muñoz, who had a breakout season and was heavily linked to Barcelona, he is likely being sold off to Newcastle United.
They are liquidating their youth assets to fund the veteran war chest.
It is a fire sale.
It is. In football finance, academy players represent pure profit on the accounting books, what they call the plusfolia. Selling a homegrown player like Muñoz for 20 million euros immediately injects 20 million of pure capital gain into their financial fair play calculations.
Ah, so that gives them the fiscal room to absorb the massive wages of a veteran like Bernardo Silva.
Exactly. They are completely abandoning La Fabrica to cash in on immediate capital gains.
It is crazy. Even Alvaro Arbeloa, the highly rated youth coach who's being groomed for the first-team job for years, is packing his bags.
Yeah, he is leaving the club entirely to manage Fulham in the Premier League. The entire development pipeline is literally being dismantled.
It is a ruthless pivot. But I guess Mourinho is looking at a dressing room that fought with itself last year and lost its competitive edge.
He fundamentally believes you do not win European Cups with potential. You win them with proven, battle-tested mercenaries. Youth players introduce chaos and variance. Mourinho demands control and absolute certainty.
Okay, but if they are liquidating the youth academy just to afford the wages of veterans like Silva and a €90 million fee for Gvardiol, how on earth are they supposedly putting together a €150 million mega offer for Atletico Madrid's Julián Álvarez?
Right, that is the biggest headline dominating the news cycle right now.
The internet is completely losing its mind over this bid, but it feels completely off.
That is because the bid doesn't exist.
Wait, what?
It is a phantom offer, a complete pantomime designed to manipulate the entire market.
Really? Because if Mourinho wants defensive control and veteran tempo setters, a massive splash on another attacker makes absolutely no sense.
None at all.
It is almost like being at a high-stakes art auction, right? You hold up the paddle and start bidding up a painting you don't even want, purely to force your bitter rival across the room to drain their entire bank account if they want to take it home.
That is precisely the mechanism. This is Florentino Perez weaponizing Real Madrid's financial reputation.
So he is just artificially driving up the price.
You have to view this through the lens of financial fair play. By projecting a €150 million valuation for Álvarez, Madrid artificially inflates the player's price tag across the entire European market.
They establish a brand new floor for negotiations.
Exactly. So if Barcelona or even Atletico themselves trying to maneuver him in the market want to do business, the baseline is suddenly astronomical.
And that destroys their rivals' FFP flexibility.
Completely. If Barcelona wants to match that phantom valuation, they have to commit to massive amortizations. A €150 million fee spread over a 5-year contract means a €30 million hit against their wage cap every single year.
Before even factoring in the player's actual salary.
Right. It cripples their ability to sign anyone else. Madrid forces their rivals to exhaust their limited resources, while Florentino sits back, never actually intending to write that check.
It is economic warfare disguised as a transfer rumor. That is genuinely diabolical.
It is brilliant.
And it seems it is not the only piece of fake news swirling around the media landscape right now either. There is this aggressive narrative being pushed everywhere that Vinicius Jr. is being forced into a renew or be sold situation this summer.
Which is legally and practically absurd.
Right, because you cannot force a player with a valid guaranteed contract out of a club.
If Vinicius wants to fulfill his contract until 2027, he is legally entitled to do exactly that.
The club cannot just put him in a box and ship him to Saudi Arabia against his will. I mean, employment law still exists in football.
Exactly. This narrative is likely designed by external factions to unsettle the player or pressure his camp during negotiations.
Is just a distraction.
A complete distraction. From a purely operational standpoint, it holds absolutely no water. Madrid's real focus is executing Mourinho's specific targeted demands in defense and midfield, not fighting a highly public, inevitably losing legal battle with their own star winger.
It is a masterclass in media misdirection. I mean, look at the shiny €150 million object over here and panic about the star winger over there, while behind the curtain, we quietly lock down the entire defensive structure.
Secure a 31-year-old midfield general and reorganize the tax liabilities of the new manager.
They are playing an entirely different game than the one being reported on the front pages.
A completely different game.
So to distill all of this for you, the listener, Real Madrid is executing a ruthless win-now rebuild under José Mourinho.
They are prioritizing veteran footballing IQ and intense asymmetric defensive solidity.
And they are completely sacrificing their youth academy to fund it while playing 4D chess in both the transfer market and the Spanish tax office.
It is a highly volatile, high-reward strategy. They're dismantling the long-term future to bet the entire house on immediate, undeniable success over the next 2 seasons.
But before we wrap up, there is one massive wild card that could blow this entire meticulously classified dossier to absolute pieces.
The ultimate disruptor.
The 2026 World Cup has just kicked off in North America. And Real Madrid, specifically Florentino Perez, has a fatal attraction to World Cup stars.
It is an absolute addiction.
Think Mesut Ozil in 2010. Then comes Rodriguez in 2014. The president falls in love during the summer tournament, and all prior plans just go out the window.
Every single time.
So I leave you with this provocative thought to chew on as you watch the matches this month. What happens to this incredibly calculated, defensively balanced, Mourinho-approved master plan if a completely unknown 21-year-old attacker has the tournament of a lifetime in Mexico or the U.S.?
It is the great unknown. Does Mourinho's ironclad discipline hold the club steady? Or does the president's instinct take over, demanding the shiny new toy?
Does the whole tactical blueprint get ripped up for a brand new Galactico? Keep a very close eye on the World Cup with that in mind, because in Madrid, the blueprint is only ever as strong as the president's latest obsession.